What is going on, guys? Ben Gilligan here, coming back at you with another video. You guys have been really asking for the draft content, and I have not delivered until now. This is the first video of many that I'm going to do that is draft related. If you guys are new here, I would appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. This is the top 5 draft steals in the 2018 NFL draft. So players, in my opinion, that I had rated very, very highly, were high on my board, or I like them for specific reasons, whether that's potential, because, you know, they have the intangibles, high ceiling, you know, or low floor, or something like that. These are players that I thought were very, very talented and went way after their talent goes in the accordance with the rest of the players in this draft. We're going to do a countdown starting at 5 and working our way down all the way to 1. I will throw out a quick honorable mention as well. There are a lot of players that went really late who I thought could have went much higher, like Equanimeous St. Brown, like Deshaun Elliott. Those would be a couple honorable mentions I would throw out. But we're going to start off this list. Number 5 is going to be Antonio Callaway. He was drafted to the Cleveland Browns, I believe, in round 4. And Antonio Callaway is certainly an interesting player. I was a huge Antonio Callaway fan at Florida. Of course, did not play as much as he maybe could have. Cleveland Browns traded up to get him round 4, pick 5. And this is a guy that is in extreme talent. The only concern of him, and the only reason he fell this far, is because of off-the-field issues. To me, he was the second best receiver in the entire class. He was dominant against some of the best defensive backs in this particular draft class. You look at a Minkah Fitzpatrick, for example. Combine, 4'4", 140, so he has up there near elite speed at 5'11", 200 pounds, fantastic hands, 9.5 inches, 34-inch vertical jump, 121-inch broad, and he's just a polished route runner with really solid hands. The only problem is off-the-field issues. That's really what it's all about. Whether it's, you know, marijuana, which is a huge issue in the NFL, apparently. He had a diluted sample at the combine. But he's just such a talented player, and now that Josh Gordon is supposedly clean, maybe he can get into the head and say, Antonio Callaway, hey, you're too good of a player to be getting suspended. You're too good of a player to throw potential, you know, years out of your career just, you know, off the table. And really, at the end of the day, you're too good to throw away all this potential money you could be earning, because money talks. If you guys are not familiar with that phrase, Antonio Callaway is a fantastic player. Other than his off-the-field issues, there is no reason he should have even fell past the second round. Incredible player, very, very talented. If he can stay on the field, stay out of trouble, stay healthy, this is going to be a very talented player for the Cleveland Browns as we move on to number 4, and that is going to be Marcell Ateman, receiver out of Oklahoma State. I really like Marcell Ateman. He has everything you look for in a big-bodied receiver. He is huge. 6'5", 216 pounds, nearly 10-inch hands, huge arms as well, and his jump ball ability is phenomenal. Didn't test insanely well at the combine, 34-inch vertical jump, but he's already so tall. That's a pretty good jump for him. 4.62 on the 40, but he plays very fast on the tape. He is disgusting overall. Would go all the way in the 7th round, pick 10 to the Oakland Raiders, and his value exceeds that to me very much. I wouldn't have been surprised if he went in the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, somewhere in that range. He's a huge receiver with fantastic ball skills, leaping ability to go up there and make those contested catches and come down with the ball. He's even somewhat solid after the catch. Big fan of him. So even though his athletic ability potentially leaves a little bit to be desired, with that already elite size and ball skills, he's going to be able to go up there, jump up, get the football, and give great value to the Oakland Raiders. To me, he was stellar value in the 7th round, someone that I really liked as a potential draft steal going into this. I would have had him as a draft steal potentially in the 4th or even the 5th, and he falls all the way to the 7th round. So I think this was tremendous value for the Oakland Raiders. At number 3, I'm going to go ahead and throw in Arden Key. Arden Key, it's kind of the same deal as the first prospect we talked about, first draftee, if you will, now in Antonio Callaway, with off-the-field issues. And that's really what it's all about with Arden Key, because he has all the talent in the world. 2 years ago at LSU, he was dominant, looking like a top 5 player in this draft class. When he would eventually come out, just dominated the SEC, was sick at LSU, and then it started with the off-the-field issues. Would put himself into a rehab center, for weed, and, struggled with his weight when he came back eventually to the team. He's a guy that's been as low as 230 and as high as 275, 280. So checked into the combine at 238. You're looking for him to find really that size. He's 6'5", with decent speed off the edge, good edge bender, and he's a guy that can get after the quarterback, be dominant in run stuffing. He has long arms, and he is a solid player. He's everything that you look for in terms of a mold to build around. He's just got to work on establishing pass rush moves and staying out of trouble. It's a thing that I'm going to keep mentioning, after Antonio Callaway and now with Arden Key. You got to stay out of trouble, and you have all the talent in the world. You can be a dominant player. This is another pick for the Oakland Raiders. He would go round 3, pick 23. To me, Arden Key was certainly a top 32 talent, if you want to say it like that, for first round talent. That's what he was. But it's the off-the-field issues that really hurt his draft stock. He would eventually go in the 3rd round. But I think this can be a solid starter for the Raiders eventually. Solid rotational edge rusher off the bat at the very least. Really love Arden Key. The real problem was after he came back from the rehab center and struggling with the weight, his production went way down. If he can stay out of trouble, stay at a reasonable weight, and really play to his potential, he's absolutely going to be a draft steal. Love Arden Key's potential. It's all about playing up to it. At number 2, I'm going to have Justin Reid. This is a player that's as clean as they come. Clean, and a very, very good player. He would go in the 3rd round, pick number 4 to the Houston Texans, and should probably start at free safety. Ran a 4.4 flat 40, had a really good broad jump at 128 inches, 36.5 on the vertical, and he was a solid safety at Stanford. He's a guy that clearly is smart. Obviously went to Stanford for a football scholarship, but you don't just get into Stanford with no grades either, even, as a top football player, and that's exactly what Justin Reid is. So he's a smart guy, but really, he's leading that Stanford defense. He was the player that kept flashing up on the tape. Should have probably went near the end of the 1st round, maybe top of the 2nd. I was looking for the Giants to potentially go after him with their first pick in the 2nd round. And even when he was available in the 3rd, they decided to go a different direction. But this is not a video about the Giants. We might get to another video on them later. But we're talking about Justin Reid. Very, very good player. Very, very good. Loved his tape at Stanford. He is a ball hawk that really excels in run defense. That's what I have to say. His ball skills, upper echelon, but he really excels near the line of scrimmage, dropping down as a safety and shutting down the run. Breaks down in front of ball carriers to really wrap up, sometimes for big plays behind the line of scrimmage. He is a super talented player. And to me, I was super shocked that he fell all the way to the 3rd round as someone that I could see potentially being a top safety in the NFL. We look at his brother, Eric Reid, coming out of LSU, won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Is that true? I don't think that's true. He was a Pro Bowler, at least, in his first season. He definitely didn't win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't know. I just kind of threw that out there. He definitely didn't. I believe that was in 2014. That would have been irrelevant. Anyway, Eric Reid, super solid coming out, and then just didn't put it together. I think Justin Reid is a better prospect than Eric Reid was in my tape evaluation. I think that Justin Reid is a more polished player coming out of the draft, and Eric Reid is a guy that went middle of the 1st round. I think he went 16th overall, I want to say, to the San Francisco 49ers in that draft class. Justin Reid, phenomenal player. Really loved him at Stanford. I think he's going to make an immediate impact for the Houston Texans. Should start at free safety. Could even slide him over to the strong side depending on what you want to do. They do have Andre Hall already out there. It's going to be an interesting player to watch. He's versatile. He can do it all at the safety position. Could even play nickel corner potentially. He's very versatile. But we will see. Let's go ahead and move on to the number 1 player. I'm sure many of you already know who it's going to be. And at number 1, I'm going to have Derrius Guice. Now, there's no bias with this pick. There isn't. Now, I do know Derrius Guice on a somewhat, at least, personal level. We've played, some games together on Fortnite and dabbled around on, friendly on Twitter and whatnot. But Derrius Guice is an insane player. I'm not pandering here. He was number 6 on my top 50 draft board prior to all that happening. I just wanted to kind of set the stage. Derrius Guice is extremely talented. He is a bruiser. Checked into the combine at 5'11", 224 pounds, ran a 4.4940, which I think was a very good time for him, and he is super strong. You look at him on tape, he is a bruiser. He is a brawler. I compared him a lot to a bowling ball because he just bounces off tackles and throws you out of the way. Derrius Guice refuses to go down. Honestly, reminds me a lot of a beast mode. You look at him on tape, he just throws everyone off. He doesn't necessarily have that game-breaking speed. He did run very fast at the combine, 4.49. He definitely has the speed to outrun linebackers. I think, with his style of running, which is just sheer power, doesn't care about running around you, which he can do. His elusiveness was very, very good. Really showed up. His vision is phenomenal, but he will run right over you. He will run through weak arm tackles, does not care about those whatsoever. You're going to need to get in front of him, and hopefully you can bring him down. Derrius Guice should have been a first-round pick, in my opinion. If Saquon Barkley is going to go number 2 overall, he would go round 2, pick 27 all the way at the end of the second round to the Washington Redskins. This is a guy who I would not have been surprised if the Redskins took him number 13 overall in the first round. Lions at number 20 could have been a potential landing spot. Derrius Guice falls all the way to the end of the second round. I think this is the best value pick in the draft right now. He's just such a good player and was a top 10 player coming into the draft for me. The fact that he fell all the way down to almost the third round, I think is absolutely phenomenal for the Redskins. I'm not a Redskins fan. I'm a Giants fan, and I am going to be a little bit annoyed having that Giants defense going up against such a talented player in Derrius Guice at least twice a year. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know if I missed any. I'm sure I did, and I'm telling you, I know that I did because I have a number of other players who I thought about including on this top 5 list. I mentioned 2 at the start. Let me know. There are plenty more I could choose from. Narrowing down to 5 was certainly difficult, but that is going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.